Namaste, angels. I'm going to do a client reading, beginning with trying to find out whether her husband, who she believes is a soulmate, or possibly someone else who she hasn't met yet, is a divine partner for her. Beginning with Earth connection. And I think she did say, well, actually, both the husband and whom she thinks she has to meet, Earth signs. But this card, starting with this card, I felt for her, although she said she was a Leo. I felt for her in that she needs to get like grounded and balanced and give birth to maybe a new skill. It needs to be honed first, practice. She might even need to go to school to study this practice, or like work at it or on it as like an apprentice underneath somebody else or something like that. Now they're making me see this card behind it. It's the Five of Air, also upright, which is about conflict and bringing it upon oneself, at least for me. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. Fives represent change, and they can represent difficulty, challenging energy. For me, it's like, yes, conflict and challenging energy, but it could have been avoided had you not contributed something. And sometimes it's inadvertent. Sometimes we don't mean to. This is inadvertent or otherwise. You know, you realize after, like, oh, that's my fault. You know, that type of scenario. That's showing up here behind the Page of Earth. Page of Earth can specifically for me represent a Virgo, which is the sign she thought the gentleman that she is to meet in the future might be, a Virgo. And why it represents a Virgo for me as opposed to a Capricorn, which she said her husband is, or a Taurus, is because pages are, you know, can represent younger people and or youthful people, and Virgo is the more youthful of the earth signs. Probably because it's a mutable sign, you know, like Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, we're all considered the more youthful of our element. So yeah, earth connection. And wow, okay. Right away, opening to relationship. And actually I saw relationship as I was shuffling before too. What the relationship card means, according to the author, is that if we're not necessarily happy in relationships we have, and they don't have to be romantic, you know, romantic or otherwise, that perhaps we need to first heal the relationship with ourselves. And that could be too, because one of the other things that made me think that she needed to give birth to a new practice or skill or job or something, vocation, was, yes, the Page of Earth, yes, practice, but also inner child from this deck. Made me think like there was something that needed to come out, you know, give birth to something. This is your baby now. Anyway, earth connection back, and opening to trilogy of light, which represents for me more of a trinity type of energy, or that which we're actually trying to achieve as light beings. Those of us who, you know, see ourselves as light beings, or otherwise know that we are light beings. You know, it's like ourselves and our partner, and of course the universe or God, and we're trying to just get nearer and nearer to this energy here. Earth connection. And moon tree, which does represent sacred marriage between two souls, and also between, like, you know, it's the marriage between heaven and earth as well. Opposite earth connection. It can have dual meaning and also have something to do with you getting out into and spending some time with the earth, getting grounded. And they're actually showing me behind this card is the goddess, also representative of the moon. And with the moon here in the picture, the moon is that feminine energy of surrender, sort of embodied. in the sky. So, yeah, I think that's your guidance, to surrender to the universe and also spend some time with it outdoors. I'm going to cut. Somebody may need some forgiveness, always beginning with ourselves. A message from afar. This, I feel, is from the universe. I get different things every time I pick up this card, as I do with most cards. Sometimes I feel like it is like a person long distance who's trying to contact you or who will contact you. This, and sometimes I feel like it's ancestors or deceased loved ones and things like that. But this, I'm feeling, is actually the universe trying to speak to you. And actually, I got to remember with whom I'm speaking or for whom I'm reading. Actually, you did mention in your first message to me, requesting the reading, that you've been having odd dreams and things. So this can certainly be the message from afar. And golden memories. This card for me says that there's something that you need to leave alone, let go, and only take like the good memories for it. I'm feeling it might be connected to that inner child too, something from your childhood. Take the positivity and or lessons learned from it and leave the pain, the trauma, the resentment, the regret, whatever is attached to it that's negative emotion. Leave that behind as a distant, let it become a distant memory, faint, and then, be removed from you. Like release it to the energy, to the universe. And this also can be connected to that need for you to surrender, right? Let go, stop holding on to these old things, let them go, give them up to, the universe, give them to God, as they say, any worries, concerns, all that kind of stuff. Just like open your hands and let it drop. That's your overall energy. Okay. So these cards here will represent your husband. And we'll see what comes from this. As opposed to a potential other somebody. Guardian. So you are protected in your relationship with your husband. You are, and in everything that you do. We all have guardian angels, I believe, too. I know I have two specific ones. And, you're safe there. And this inner child is safe. This is popping up again. You may have some issues that are holding you back, even with the husband, and he may have some too, going back to childhood. There can be blocks for the two of you, and maybe why you haven't progressed in certain areas together or alone. Also, this card is about expectations, and next to inner child, like sometimes it comes up as like actual pregnancy for me, right? Expectancy, and then it's a child and all that kind of stuff. But it is really more so coming through right now, closer to what it means according to the author, and that is the fact that we need to let go of our expectations. This is connected to the need to surrender yet again. We got to let go of we dream too small, right? We don't dream big enough to dictate to the universe what to do, when, or how. So we need to let go of I want this in this way, I want this to happen, and just let the universe do what it's going to do. Somebody may have the husband may have some Aquarius, maybe moon or rising or something. And or Pisces. He has growth potential though. That makes sense. Your relationship with him has growth potential because he has growth potential. Like he's not the kind of person that's going to remain stagnant. He will get beyond his barriers, where you two will be able to progress. He could use some meditation though, healing sounds. Now there hasn't been anything very romantic here in this column for husband, and that was primarily what I was looking for. So let me go on to the next one and see what comes up for a potential other someone. There's the relationship again. Yeah, right away. Again, I saw this card as I was shuffling, and I showed it to you as I was shuffling alone, and then as I was shuffling on camera. And now here it is again, first card out for the other person. Surrounded by abundance, and another card of being outside in the earth, which can definitely represent an earth sign, and perhaps a Virgo. This card about abundance. It's another one that sometimes speaks pregnancy and things like that to me, like sitting here under... If this was one spread on one person sitting here under inner child and crossing expectancy, I might go, because it's like it comes through. Sometimes I read this as a bundle rather than abundance. But yeah, this is a giving. I was talking about giving birth to something new, and the suit of earth earlier, the element of earth, like in that area, giving birth to something new, maybe a new study, a new vocation, a new something that will lead to this growth and abundance for you in your life. And it's abundance of love too. It can lead to that as well. Especially sitting here next to relationship. Blessings also from Mother Mary. I saw her crying as I was shuffling the cards too. But here she's blessing you with this abundance and perhaps with a relationship. The gateway. This can be a cosmic, or sacred relationship too. And the mystic. There goes this card that makes me think of the sign of Aquarius and or water signs again. So it looks like you may be right that your husband may be a soulmate. We all get several soulmates, not all romantic, or even our children, our parents, other people in our lives can be soulmates. And some people, can go their whole lives living with a soulmate comfortably. It sounds like from what you mentioned, maybe you guys are already beyond that. The two of you already possibly having accepted the fact, or at least surrendered in that regard, accepted the fact that the universe may have other plans for you with other people. Which is a beautiful thing when you can come to that sort of honest, open communication and crossroads. But there is definitely a relationship here, very much possibly with an earth sign that has some water or Aquarius in their chart, I would say. All right, so I'll go on to the next spread. See what else comes up. Again, begin with the Page of Earth, which can represent earth signs. It's a court card, so it can very well be a person in your life too, representative of a person. Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, or someone taking on those traits and behaviors. Scholarly behavior, scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful is the Page of Earth. Good news about financial matters, wanting to do something more challenging and a new area of study. So this is another indication also of news of abundance, like forthcoming to you, not unlike the other card that we just saw a moment ago. And opening to the Page of Air. I was talking about Aquarius. Somebody may be an air sign, moon or rising, or for the other person, perhaps even sun. The page of air is logical, honest, impulsive, and curious also, and Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or somebody taking on those traits or behaviors. Challenging information, delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. Page of earth. According to the wheel with Archangel Michael, a time of positive change. The situation suddenly moves forward and fortune is on your side. So more news of more abundance, which is beautiful. This card can represent the signs of Leo, so like yourself, can represent Aquarius as well, speaking to them again. Scorpio. So there's the water that I saw too, as a possibility for somebody. And Taurus. So introducing more of the earth element. Oh, also Sagittarius, of course, because it's connected to the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck, of fortune, of karma. So Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius. This card can very well represent a Sagittarius or fire sign too. Opening to the Three of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player in a general sense. And sitting here next to the wheel, this card especially, this card is about like abundance coming from your work paying off, and the boss wanting to give you a raise, a bonus, some sort of recognition. And your boss can be the universe itself. And, you know, it doesn't have to be an actual employer, although it can very well be that too. This can also represent, for me, what I call a party of three, which is a situation involving three people, possibly a love triangle, but not necessarily. So for you, for example, it can be represent a third energy that's out there, that's calling to you. That's an earth sign as well. Yeah. The wheel. I'm going to cut. It's the Nine of Earth. Enjoying life's little luxury, spending quiet time alone, and successful self-employment. Something jumped on the floor. What is it? It's the Seven of Water. A complex decision and the need to do research. Stop procrastinating. This can also do with like fantasizing and like your head being in the clouds. Sort of Piscean kind of energy coming through from this card. Could be a one-night stand in your future too, and that may lead to the meeting of you know, this new person or a new person in your life. Is what else is coming from there. I'm just going to stick it in here arbitrarily. And the overall energy is the Empress. Lavish abundance. Give birth to your dreams. Nurture yourself and others. So this is what I've been talking about since I started this reading. The Empress card for me represents the planet Venus, which is the mother and the nurturer. She is the goddess of love and money. So there's your abundance again, too. This card also speaks to the potential presence of a third energy. It can have to do with, you know, just feeling really good about yourself, feeling really beautiful, feeling really attractive, and maybe even being attractive. Like taking note of a lot of people taking note of you. The Nine of Earth that came through before, it represents being alone, but not lonely. Like you're happy and you feel good about yourself. You enjoy being with you. This card is about nurturing you, nurturing others, nurturing your dreams, giving birth to them. And represents the signs of Taurus and Libra, which Venus rules. The masculine is a knight of water who's emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative, falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, and an invitation to a social event. Surrounded by the hermit with Archangel Raziel, spends quiet time alone in meditation, spiritual teaching, and self-discovery. This is a card of introspection. It's also about, not minding being by yourself, enjoying being with you and learning about you. Represents the sign of Virgo or other earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus. And in the masculine subconscious, it's the Knight of Water. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, you have a love of life. On your end, another 3, awakening. This is the that sense of being in limbo, and it also represents that Piscean energy again. So this masculine may very well have some Pisces in his chart. This is the Hangman. It's also another 3, representative of that third energy again. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill, so you can do so. It's important to be yourself in that time. What that means is, like, now's not the time for any ego to get in the way. Now's not the time for any pretense or, anything fake, anything prohibitive. It's just to allow for flow and free thinking and honest answers for you from you, basically. It's taking a step back, looking at the larger picture and mapping things out for yourself in a fair way, meaning by taking a true, honest assessment. No bullshit. You're surrounded by the Page of Air, who's logical, honest, impulsive, and curious, challenging information, delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. The Page of Air certainly represents air signs and can be an actual person. Similar to how the Page of Earth more so represents a Virgo for me, the Page of Air more so represents a Gemini for me. So whereas I was seeing a lot of Aquarius before, it could have also just been representative of air energy in general and maybe a Gemini. So this person could be, for example, a Virgo sun with a Gemini moon or Gemini rising, or Aquarius or Libra even, because we also have your overall energy again of the Empress, who's a Virgo. And when who represents Taurus rather, and Libra. I was distracted for a moment because when I picked up the Empress, also upright behind it was Release, which is the Death card, representing the sign of Scorpio or the water sign. The end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, it's time to move on. This is another indication of the need to let something go, allow it to die, so that it can give birth to something new in your life. So that you can give birth to something new in your life. Something is going to cease to exist in your life and or change, completely transform. So in that sense, it still can, that's why I said and or, it still ceases to exist, but it can come back in a different way. This can include, people, but something is never going to be the same again. A situation, and you are meant to let it go. Now, ironically, Scorpios can be the most hesitant to do that, and maybe because they know that when they do, allow death for something, it's permanent, so maybe they want to be sure. They hold on to stuff for years and years and years. So if you have any of that in your chart, you're guided to use it to the positive and allow for that transformation to occur. So that, yes, you see these 2 cards back to back like this. This one is about giving birth to something new in your dreams and all that. And this one is about allowing something old and dead to die, to be dead. So together, it really means that there's something of which you need to let go. And also upright behind this is the Seven of Earth. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action. This is also about a temporary pause. This awakening card, this Hangman card. Unnecessary worry. So just because things don't seem to be moving forward in the way that you can see them, you have to trust that you've already like planted the seeds, to allow for things to grow. And you have to trust that if something's over, that you allow it to die. And that's what's going to bring you the new growth and the birth of something new. Behind that, it's not upright, but it's the Star, which is very similar to this Nine of Water, because it too is a yes and a wishes granted, prayers answered card. But it also represents the sign of Aquarius or other air sign, Gemini, Libra. So getting back to that, I had initially started talking about the Page of Air. This card can also be about truth bombs. Page of Air, very, very good for that, especially Gemini, for just like letting stuff out of their mouth. Not in the sense of wanting to hurt anybody. It's not a malicious way. Page of Air tends to mean well. Honest, impulsive, curious. It's not like a malicious or mean person, but they will just spit something out at you. In your subconscious, it's the Six of Water, memories from your history or childhood. So this is taking me back to that inner child again, and that feeling that I was getting that there's something unresolved with you from your childhood. Issues regarding children. I think you're the child with the issue, and your husband may be as well, also. And romanticizing the past. So this connected to that Golden Memories card, for example, and the need to let stuff go from the past, and to the Death card, and like to grasping it. You really, really need to let it go. This can also be an indication of something from your past that's not completed. In this position here, which is the subconscious, like being on your mind, you could actually draw something or someone in from the past, focusing on it this, intently. And maybe that's your wish. Maybe that's what you want to do. So somebody from your past could return, and maybe they are this other person. Crowning, more water. It's the Eight of Water. Desire to move on. The search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. And that Five of Air is back at the root. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. So you may have brought some sort of conflict upon yourself that was unnecessary. Might be causing a delay as a result, a delay to the growth in your life, the movement in your life. Maybe that's why the cause for this temporary standstill. There's also a pause indicated again by that Seven of Earth. Maybe your abundance would have begun to grow already, but for this move you made that was in air. But speaking of move, the heart of the matter is the Chariot with Archangel Metatron, representing the sign of Cancer, or the water sign, again, Pisces, Scorpio. An important achievement, self-discipline and willpower and public recognition. So this is similar to like the Six of Fire, for example, in Victory. It's also about movement. It can literally be about moving home, or moving from one place to another, even job or something like that. Can have to do with modes of transportation, planes, trains, automobiles. It's about you being in the driver's seat of your own life too. And probably most importantly, it's about you taking the reins, looking up toward the universe for its guidance. That's your GPS. And then, just following, fearlessly following. I was going to go on to life purpose cards, because I know you had questions about that more so than anything else, and like what you're meant to do and all that kind of stuff. But let me do the romance cards. Let me do some romance cards and see what's up here. If we can get any more answers. Beginning with romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. And opening to love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Romantic feelings. Calling in your soulmate. A 6 of water, 6 of cups can certainly represent a soulmate too. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So I was just talking about this could potentially be you calling someone in from your past or something. It can also represent, yes, calling in a soulmate. Because maybe you want to explore these romantic feelings, which are legitimate, according to both spreads. And now the romance cards. Romantic feelings. Boom. Yep. This is your soulmate. So that's who you're calling in. Romantic feelings. And this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. May very well, again, be somebody from your past. We're taking the good stuff from your past. We're moving forward with it. So taking the golden memories, we're leaving the resentment if that person hurt you in the past before, and they do come back into your life. We're going to start fresh now, right? We're letting go of all that old stuff for the sake of exploring these romantic feelings. Because our love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment, not unlike what this 8 of water could potentially represent, with this desire to move on and the search for something more meaningful. And this moving on, sitting here atop this major card of movement, the Chariot. So very divine and karmic energy propelling you forward in life. Romantic feelings. So I'll go one more. It's religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. This may be what's the thing from your childhood is about. You may feel trapped by some ideology or something with which you were raised. May have you confused or feeling stuck, unsure which direction to take. Okay, I have the reins, but what do I do now? You need that GPS from the universe. We're back to this could be the one. Overall energy is release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. So all those 3s that showed up for you in the 3rd energy, yeah, this could very well be your husband. And this is the overall energy. I mean, the same could go for him. The fact that he needs to release you as well. So again, I really love the fact that you guys have sort of talked about stuff like that already. I think that's super positive and healthy. Because it implies that, at least in that area, you've already let go of the fear, which is beautiful. And a big part of this. Atop the Knight of Water, love yourself first. So we have this Knight of Love. He's like one of the most, if you ask me, romantic knight in the deck. He's being directed to first aim that love at himself. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Like we have to be able to love ourselves, and if we're going to love somebody else, it's that sort of thing. And maybe that's why he has this introspection here too with the Hermit, and this sits right atop the Hermit. He needs to go within, learn to love him so that he can love you properly too. And then maybe why you guys haven't met yet. Maybe you're doing your healing apart in advance. Some of us do it like we meet and then we go through it and we have these breakups and makeups and breakups and makeups because we have to consistently, return to this point of introspection and work on us before we can come back together. Maybe you guys, you're doing it separately first and you will have had it worked out already by the time you come together. Here atop that Hermit, romantic feelings. So this is about going within. Again, like the Hermit goes within. He's going within. He's got these feelings and he's, being guided now to look into them. Here atop the Nine of Water. Past life relationship. You've known each other before. Maybe he's been wishing to come be called in or to call in his soulmate as well. And that wish being answered, that prayer being granted. Here, a top awakening for you. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. So when you do meet, there will be a very intense, like physical chemistry, physical attraction. Maybe not necessarily in the sense that it's your type. So it may be completely unlike any type you've ever had before or ever been interested in. But there'll be a very strong, like a magnetism pulling you together despite that. Like even if it's not somebody you would normally even look at twice. Here atop the page of air is passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. So sometimes in order to do that kind of thing, we need to remain youthful. Page of air, very good for that. And sitting underneath that page of air, who's open to honest communication, is heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. So you're going to be doing this with a soulmate. That's what's ahead for you. Atop the 8 of water and this growth and movement, moving toward more positive things, finances and career. This is another sign of the abundance that's on its way to you. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now, but a positive one because that's improving. Here atop the 5 of air, 5s represent change, and this says you're changing to new love. Moving on again to something else, moving on. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. This stirred romantic feelings crosses the romantic feelings card. So here you go together, those. And atop the chariot, like, why are we moving on? Because you deserve love. You are lovable. And this angel representing Cupid, to me, this card can also represent like very Sagittarian energy for me as well. Now I'll do the life purpose cards. Beginning again with practice. Polish your skills by practicing regularly. And opening to writing. You heal, inspire, teach, and entertain with the words you write. I actually felt something about writing with you before I did the reading. And I was like, author, writing, like those kind of words were coming through me. Writing back, study. So far, right on track with what I said. Reading, research, and education help you to gain confidence and clarity about your career. So there is some sort of skill or vocation, study into which you're meant to look. And maybe it is something to do with writing. And or flowers. Working with flowers opens your heart and brings blessings to others through your life experience. And I just got something like, well, maybe it means recipes when I saw flowers. I guess flowers could be herbs. Maybe you're like a cookbook or something. I don't know from where that came, but it did just come. Writing back. And basically, you can do anything you want is what the universe is saying. Heart's desires. The angels are supporting, guiding, and protecting you as your dreams become reality. Writing. And right back to practice. Full circle. Polish your skills by practicing regularly. Teaching. You inspire young people to learn. I just got, though, that could have to do with you going to school, too. So not necessarily you being the teacher. You could, study under a teacher. You have options. Review them. Consider the career possibilities that are open to you. That connected to the Heart's Desires card, perhaps. You can do whatever it is you set your mind to, basically, is what that's saying. This masculine may be tied to someone or something else, and maybe that's why he's directed to love himself first. And now from the angels with the life purpose cards to seek his freedom. You're free to do what you choose. He doesn't need to feel stuck in any other existence. He can do what he wants. Also, on the right path was where it comes to this introspection and going within and exploring the romantic feelings. That's exactly what he should be doing. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working. Here atop the 9 of water in the past life relationship is support from the angels. Your life purpose fully supports you. So there's the guardians coming back to help us with, whatever our needs are. And infinite abundance. More indication of this on its way to you. You're fully supported as you devote yourself to your divine life purpose. Here atop the page of air. Wow, it's sitting next to the chariot too. Is travel. Your life purpose involves traveling. The chariot can definitely be about traveling, and the page of air can be about delay. And I'm getting something with that. I'm going to come back to it because I'm getting something with that. Like held up, delayed. But I don't know if it's just like a plane being delayed or if I'm kind of getting like you were meant to move on before. This is not your first push to move on. Like you've gotten this push before. And maybe that's what happened. You did something. You sort of like bucked the universe with. That's the 5 of air, the challenging energy that you brought upon yourself, or the difficulty, the conflict that you brought upon yourself. You brought this delay upon yourself with the traveling forward in life, basically. But, it is what it is. We accept it as a lesson, a study. And study is here atop the heart-to-heart conversations and the 6 of water. Here, atop finances and career and the 8 of water. Protected. You are safe and supported while you change your career. And I'm using life purpose cards and I'm looking at career because you wanted me to, but this is also like general for life. Like not just as you change your career, but in your life, you are safe and protected. I felt that even with the husband. What I say, I thought about before with you, writing, author. I was thinking like author, right? I don't know what this is. But this might be it, yeah, because here it is at the root. Atop new love. This can be the thing you give birth to. You have a book inside you that wishes to be expressed. Make time to write it. And this can be any kind of writing, not necessarily a book, but certainly a book is a possibility. And boom. Okay, that's it. At the heart of the matter, here atop being an author is writing. There you go. So you have a lot of options. You can explore different choices. Sort of like that 7 of water that came through before, fantasizing about different options, different choices. You can pretty much do whatever you want, but certainly writing is something that is literally in the cards for you. Here from the Universal Love Oracle for the masculines, miracles. So he's getting wishes granted. You both got blessings, and when it came to him, specifically the other gentleman, blessings from Mother Mary in his column, and now miracles. This may be having something to do with the fact that, with the bringing of you two together. Because again, he has this wishes granted card connected to past life relationship. So like this is something he's been hoping for. I want to meet, this soulmate or divine partner that I feel I have somewhere out there. I want to meet them again. I want to, get back together with that woman I lost years ago, whatever the case is. And that wish, being granted now. To the miracles. For you, embrace. This is about learning to love yourself more. It looks like to different people in a very loving embrace, but really this is one person, and their inner masculine and feminine being able to come together in love. So sort of like that 9 of Earth, like loving yourself, enjoying being by yourself, liking, loving you. That's what this card is about. You may have to work on healing that inner child in order to reach this place. But you wouldn't be alone. Many of us have to do that. Here, the masculine side, it's the Ace of Earth, which again can certainly represent, you said you thought he was a Virgo. The Hermit represents the sign of Virgo, and the Ace of Earth absolutely can too. It also represents the inflow of abundance, which is awesome. A promising business venture, important documents, or contracts. So that is supporting this growth forward, sitting here next to the infinite abundance. Crossing the Chariot, that's something moving in that area for you. Sudden victory and movement. Also, this feeling of being burdened or having been a burden upon somebody else, being burdensome, coming to balance, and that leads to stress-related health concerns. With you being a Leo, maybe this is showing up for you as a result, and maybe it has to do with this abundance is now coming your way, like you were having some sort of financial difficulties, and therefore feeling burdensome upon somebody else. Maybe that's one of the things that kept you in your marriage, even though you and your husband have gotten to the point where you both feel you should move on. Possibly you might have somebody else out there, but maybe you had to stay together because you didn't have the funds to separate, and maybe he was supporting you with this support mirroring the infinite abundance. But now all that coming to an end. From the romance angels to the masculine retreat, it's time to disconnect from the world. So this very much goes with the Hermit card that he already had, the need to go within, spend some time alone, getting grounded, similar to not unlike what you need to do. And then give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership. And so you may say like, well, how can I do that if I don't know who it is? It begins with the working on ourselves. So these steps that you're guided to take with regard to you, with regard to loving you and liking you and supporting you and building you up, that's working on your partnership. And for the masculine school, I'm not sure this isn't for you also. The answer that you're seeking involves going to school. And lastly, for you, oracle cards. I was saying the answers are right here in the cards, literally in what's in the cards for you. And maybe that's what's being supported by this card coming through. That's what I'm feeling. You are able to discern answers and guidance for yourself and others, but similar to the teaching card, it doesn't have to be that you practice oracle cards, although it can be. Remember, you got options. You can do whatever you want. But it can be just this reading alone, or other readings that you found helpful and supportive of what it is you're trying to do, and to be a source of guidance that can represent that. I hope that you found all this helpful and that you enjoy it. I look forward to reading for you again when you meet the partner, or helping you, maybe specifically focusing on who the partner might be and helping you to do that or something like that later if you need. Namaste, Angel.